Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks, SBR Forum, SBRodds.com, SportsbookReview.com, and all that. I'm Peter Loshak. He's Teddy Covers. This is the live show that we do every morning from at 10:30 Eastern Time. Unfortunately, this is the last day, I guess, that Teddy Covers is going to be live in the studio with us this time around. Teddy Covers, thanks so much for doing this show with us. How have you liked your time in Costa Rica so far? Not bad?
Yeah, so far, mostly I've been in the SBR office.
Right, yeah, I hear you. I mean, my theory is that since the internet happened, basically every place in the world is basically the same, except for weather, obviously. But
yes.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, pretty much every place is basically. People are like, oh my God, Europe is so wonderful. I'm like, I'm sure it's just like every other place. You know what I mean? Oh, you got to go to Southeast Asia. I'm sure it's just like every other place. You know what I mean? Since the internet.
I don't know. I went to Mexico a few weeks ago, and it was very different than anywhere.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe I just have no clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Teddy.
Like
Yeah. Teddy Covers, thanks so much for being here. We do have the Thursday card, so it's a reduced slate of games, and it's definitely there's some things I think I'm seeing. Yesterday I went 2 and 3. I had some nice calls, but maybe I should chill out a little bit with the second half plays. We'll get to that in a second. But first, what do we have? We have a
to business. So yesterday we said if we got 100 likes on the video, we were going to give away a T-shirt. We did, and we shall. So we went through the comments, and I got to give it to my man Big Simon today. So, Big, I know you're going to watch, and I know you're going to comment. So reach out, and we'll get you a nice T-shirt. So congratulations!
Wow, very nice.
To be able to rock Pistol Pete's face
yeah.
on your box.
I guess I'm looking forward to I don't know. I guess he's anonymous, so we can't take a picture of him wearing the shirt, can he?
I don't know. We can make him.
A lot of people. Yeah, we could.
You don't get it unless you take a picture of it.
All right. Well, Teddy Covers, it's been great doing these shows. I do want to say one thing yesterday. One thing, people who follow these shows very, very closely, you asked me a very interesting question, sort of one of the all-time, questions that everyone has to ask themselves when they're handicapping, sports betting and analyzing markets and stuff. You asked me, do I trust the opening line more than I trust the move? And I said I trust the opening line. I just want to make one caveat. That's with a move where the market hasn't fully matured yet. I definitely trust the closer more than the opener. I just want to make sure that clarify what I said in the show yesterday.
So I still don't understand.
In other words, I trust the opening line more than a move while the market is still maturing.
Gotcha.
But I trust the closer more than the opener. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't understand how you differentiate.
Okay, because a move is a move where the market could go back the other way. The market hasn't closed yet.
Well, let me check. Okay, so you're talking about, like, let's say a handful of books open before everybody else.
Right.
The market is not mature.
Right.
You're saying once the broader market opens,
right,
gets a spot, a move off of there is what you don't trust.
Right.
But those very first moves, when the market is pounding into shape, you believe in the better.
I guess what I'm saying is that I trust the closer more than the opener, but I trust the opener more than the moves. But the closer you get to the closer, I'm trusting the opener less and less. Is what I'm saying. Okay. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
Right.
Not an easy concept.
Yes, it isn't. And in fact, it would be interesting to do a study, and you could do a study, and they have done studies too. I mean, the reason that people believe that the closing number has value is because it's provable. I mean, you can go back and do a study and show that, at least in games with point spreads, that the closing numbers are closer to the final scores overall than the opening numbers are.
Correct.
For sure. Yeah, so it is provable that the closing numbers in sports betting are sharper than the opening numbers. But all I'm saying is that in my opinion, in my experience, I don't trust necessarily. I don't equate every move to being as valuable as the closer, as the combined moves that cause the closer.
Amongst the sharp betting community,
yes,
there's an enormous obsession.
Right, beating the closing line.
Beating the closing line. And I understand that conceptually. I don't know that it helps. Every half point matters. Every penny matters. Getting the best of the number does matter. But if you beat the closing line by 20 cents in every baseball game, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be on the right side of all these games.
Exactly.
Out the season.
Exactly. And a perfect example of that, Teddy Covers, is myself, because I was still, there's a guy named Jeff from BMOCwins.com. He does a show at night, and I filled in for him. I filled in for his guest one week, and of course, I gave my plays on baseball. Someone's coming in. What is this?
Oh my God! Is that myself, the legend? Can I get
this? Is our odds guy. He tried to get an autograph from him the other day.
I want your butt. Actually, that came out really bad. I don't want it.
Okay. No, this is we're creating video content gold right here. So to anyone who's still watching the show, So the story that I was what I was telling was that I did a show with Jeff. I did a show with Jeff from PMOCwins.com. I filled in.
In the late night hours.
Yes, in the late night hours, of course, I gave all my picks, right? And I gave a whole bunch of totals, and I think every single total I gave wound up beating the closer by at least a half run.
Mm-hmm.
The picks though themselves went like 1 and 5 or something like that. Something ridiculous.
That's not unheard of, you know, or necessarily even unusual. You know, beating the closing number does matter to your bottom line. Getting the best of the number or getting, you know, is certainly a key factor in the handicap, but it's not the only factor in the handicap.
Right. Okay, so let's. I'm sorry.
No.
All right, so I guess that was a nice way to start out the show with some marketology talk. Let's talk about the. Okay, go ahead.
Randy Miller, it's for Teddy, but I'll allow you to answer as well.
Hi, Randy.
Opinion on parlays.
Well, okay, I can answer that. You want me to answer that? I mean,
that's a very broad question. Okay, when you're randomly stringing games together, okay, you're not likely to have a whole lot of success. And I know that the concept, everyone likes to bet a little to win a lot. When there is some semblance of correlation, the parlays I like best are side total, you know, in the same game. When there's some correlation between the two, there may well be a positive expectation model for that parlay. But in general, stringing random teams together, and of course, you're also losing your ability to line shop when you parlay, because you're making all your bets at one book. That being said, you know, so what happens is you're not getting the best of the number even at the time that you're making the bet to try to string these together. So I'm not a huge parlay fan. When I parlay, there are 2 types of parlays I make, and I do make parlays. I'll make side total parlays. I'll do it in baseball. I'll do it in basketball. I'll do it in football. And I will also make underdog money line parlays. That's my shot at the big scores. And that's particularly, I do it in football, I do it in basketball. I don't do it as much in baseball, but I'll do it in football and basketball a fair bit as the season progresses. Not something I'm doing a lot week 1, week 2, week 3, but boy, college football, when we get into conference season, in the first couple of weeks, you have all of these giant upsets. You can have some enormous scores where you're getting paid 100 to 1, 150, 200 to 1, and turn a little bit into a lot with that particular brand of parlay. Underdogs on the money line. It works sometimes at there are stretches in football season and in basketball season where I'll tend to play those almost on a weekly or daily basis.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, just parlays magnify EV, which is why books love guys who take them, but also why books that accept professional players like Pinnacle won't take them at the reduced lines. So, you know, in theory, a guy who's positive EV would be parlaying his stuff to a certain degree. And if you look at like a proper Kelly management theory, actually, you know, parlays are called for by proper Kelly management theory on plays that are simultaneous, right? So, so there is, and obviously, as Keddy said, correlation. In terms of correlation, there can be reasons to play them, and also obviously guys who are getting around limits are use parlays as well. So yeah, there are reasons to use them, but in general, you are if you're negative EV, parlays magnify that, and even if you're positive EV, if you're betting your parlay amounts too big, they're probably negative EG, negative expected growth. So in general, parlays are something that the pros don't do, although for various reasons and in various for various amounts, they do actually do them.
Sure, I mean, the whole concept, pros never bet parlays. Oh,
yeah, no, they absolutely.
That's not true.
For sure.
They do, but what pros don't do is string random groups of teams together at bad lines and try to turn a dollar into 100.
All right, so let's take a look at. Let's take a look at but what the most important concept to remember about parlays is that they magnify EV, which is why books love them, right? Books love, yes, which is why books love them, and which is why books love them, but Pinnacle won't let you do them, right, at their reduced juice line. So, all right, so let's see, a lot of interesting stuff today. The first thing that jumps out is when we saw this Chris Sale against Pavetta matchup, the big question was, what the hell is the line going to be? And now we know, Teddy covers, it's about minus 240. And the corollary to that is, will I bet it at that line? And I personally did. I bet it at the overnight line. I took the -1, so I got -190. It has gone up a bit since I bet it because I got it at like -227. Pivetta looks like he's going to get absolutely shelled. I also took the over on this one because Sale is not. Sale's been awesome and consistent, but not lights out. He's given up 2-3 runs every single start out. So this feels like one of those games. It's going to be 8-2 Boston, something like that. What do you think? What's your take on this game? 2:30.
I used the Red Sox as low-hanging fruit yesterday.
Yes, great call. Great call. Teddy Covers, great call. Teddy Covers.
It was relatively easy.
Yes.
Obviously, in that one, if you played them on the run line, you were able to catch a nice underdog return with that game, which is something that we talked about on yesterday's show. Here, you're not getting that option.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the price is a lot more significant.
Yeah.
And even we talk about on the run line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're laying a -140, -145 with Boston. That's a premium price.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a team like the Red Sox with the aces, I don't get involved with the aces very much. I really, I said that I hadn't made a bet on Kershaw in years or Strasburg in years. The $2 guys, the guys who are, $2.50 on the road, I wouldn't bet against Boston in this game, obviously. I don't have any respect for Philadelphia. I'm not a Philly. The Phillies are falling apart right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to play it is Boston. But in terms of a value perspective, there's better bets in sport.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about taking Boston -1, even at the big line. Again, I did bet it, and I think I wound up getting -190 at the -1 line. And I also bet the over, which was weird. It opened at 8. I bet it, and then it went up to 8.5. And I was like, wow. See, this is exactly what I was talking about. It went up to 8.5. I was like, wow, I'm a genius. Then it went back down to 8. So that's kind of interesting that there's been that U-shaped line movement already at this point. Usually that stuff comes closer to a first pitch. But I'm also leaning Boston team total over, which is high, which is 5. But Pivetta really looks like he's just not ready to consistently get out. And when I say consistently, I mean in the same inning, get out major league hitters. You know what I mean?
Sure. And that Red Sox lineup, there was a lot of talk without Big Pappy, what's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
And at times, they've had their share of struggles, but it's a 1 through 9 lineup, and for a pitcher like Pivetta, and of course that Phillies bullpen behind him.
That's right.
It's you don't have a lot of weak bets. For Boston.
All right. I looked at this card and I decided that I am going to give most of my leans today. So and some of them will be doubling up. Who cares? Whatever. Who cares? Who cares? All right, so I'm going to take Boston -1. Teddy Covers. Look, if it loses, it'll be 2 units, not less than 2 units, which is bad, but not that bad, right? And you are getting Chris Sale against Pivetta for that. Boston -1 and the Boston team total over 5. So the -1 line will be the money line part -230, and the run line part will be -137 at Pinnacle. So that works out to around -190, maybe a little higher. And then the team total over will be for Boston. It is 5, what I saw, and I'm going to check Pinnacle right now. Boston, actually 4.5 -149. So most of the other places will have 5 -110 or whatever. I'll take the 4.5 -149. Boston Red Sox team total over. All right, Teddy Covers. I think that's okay, right? Yes, sure. Absolutely.
I'm rooting for you.
All right, thanks so much, Teddy Covers. There's a bunch of other games that I'm liking and thinking about. Teddy Covers, is there anything that particularly jumped out at you as a pick that you might be thinking about betting today?
Sure. There's one that jumped off the page and that's
Fading.
The Yankees.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I'm a Jordan Montgomery fan.
Yes.
This is a pitcher that is, he doesn't have the blazing speed, so the markets don't love it. The markets want the young lefties with the blazing speed, and they're going to mow everyone down. But what Montgomery does so well, he throws his curveball more than 20% of the time. He throws his changeup more than 20% of the time. He alternates speeds, and he just keeps pitchers off balance.
Yes.
All day long. He's the comparisons Mr. Yankee sat that he's drawing. That Andy Pettitte. And whatever Andy Pettitte is a great pitcher who's won many titles. But those are in terms of a profile. That may be the kind of profile that we're looking at with this.
Yes, Teddy Covers. That is a pick that I jumped on myself. I took the Yankees on the -1 line. I got a kind of a bad number because it's moved the other way, but I can understand because Sonny Gray has been doing well recently, better. He's not getting shutout starts, but he's missing a lot of bats, getting a lot of strikeouts, getting some nice results in general. So I can understand why some money would come in on Oakland Plus, because Oakland has one of the best home records in baseball in terms of ROI. But I agree with you. I love the Yankees here, or at least like them a lot.
Well, Oakland can't play any defense.
Right.
And Oakland doesn't hit the ball.
Right.
So, the starting pitching.
There's only one other thing.
Well, it takes up so much of the equation. People have starting pitching. And it's like where I found my success in baseball is accept that the numbers are in the range where they're supposed to be with the starting pitchers and find your edges elsewhere. Who's got the better lineup? Not even close.
Right.
Yankees. Who's got the better defense? You know, Oakland's on pace for a historically bad defense. They're on pace to commit more errors by far than any team in baseball has over, I believe, in this decade. So the defense is horrific, and from a bullpen standpoint, big edge for the Yankees as well. So even if you think Sonny Gray is the superior pitcher, the Yankees are better in all the other in the key avenues. And what's it? You know, you can find the -111. Right?
Yep. Actually, Chris books have 110. So I'm going to take the Yankees -1 here, and I will take at the Chris the money line part -110. The run line part will be at also the Chris books at +144, which is a nice little positive line there on the -1 line for the Yankees. And I will also take the Yankees second half. I may be a little free, a little licentious here with all these second half plays, but I'm going to take it. The Yankees, -130. If Sonny Gray does give you a nice 6-inning start, the Yankees, I think, should pull away late. So the Yankees on the second half -130. 2 picks on the Yankees in this one.
I don't want to hijack, but I need to understand what it is about second halves that you like. Because, again, you were asking me about it yesterday. I'm like, I don't really bet on it, It seems to me you're increasing your randomness.
Yes.
As opposed to playing it in game.
Right.
You know, where you can, if you're playing it in game, you can see what's going on and get a feel. Obviously, you may not get the better
same
number.
line. Right.
But at least you know what's going on in the game. Whereas here, when you're making a bet on the back nine, it's like making a second half NFL bet before the first half starts. I don't do that.
Right. The only reason that I do, I mean, obviously, a lot of times I would prefer to bet it in game, but of course, this is a pick show, so I have to give it before the game. You're basically, and it is still a play. You're basically handicapping, as Matt said. Yes, you're handicapping bullpens. You're handicapping the way you believe the game is likely to unfold in terms of what the starting pitchers are likely to do. So that's basically what it is. And I'm happy to. I am happy to give him in picks in the show like this. Yeah.
No, I mean it's all good.
But you're right.
It's just again when I'm thinking about what kind of bets I want to make, we're all talking about positive expectation wagers. We're all talking about wagers that have have the strong ROI potential, and in doing that, in general, you're trying to minimize randomness.
Right. Yes.
And with this, if you have a second half bet. One team gets off to a 9-1 lead,
and
now it's like, okay, well, which bullpen guys are going to go in?
Right, exactly.
And
so that's the thing. So for instance, in this game, let's say that after 5 innings, Oakland's up 3-1, which would not be unthinkable, right? Then if you want to take the Yankees on the second half, at that point, you're going to get a much worse line than -130. Right. So that's another thing that I'm thinking about is if you're sort of like thinking about the way you think the game might unfold and comparing that to what kind of line you'll get if the game does actually unfold in that way. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. You're increasing your randomness. You're also taking full juice, which you're not taking on the full game line. And so you're probably better off taking in many cases taking the full game line or waiting for an in play.
Sure, but then within game, you're also not getting any breaks on the juice. So.
That's right. That's true. And again, like I said, if you believe that there's a strong reason, if you have a good feel on the way you think the game is going to turn out, and you're correct on that, then you will consistently get better lines taking the second half's full game than you would taking them in game. Okay. Yeah.
Sure. Sounds good.
No, but your basic point that it might be a stupid play is well taken.
I'm really not trying to say that. I'm trying to understand.
Right. Yes.
Because it's not a wager that I've done that I have a whole lot of familiarity.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's see what else. So I've given 4 plays already. Now another play that I was going to do, which I guess it got canceled. I like the over 8.5 in Washington Mets, but that was with Steven Matz starting. Now Gesellman is starting, and so my overnight bet on 8.5 got canceled. I'm still thinking that the Mets might hit Gonzalez here a little bit. He's a good pitcher, which is why his line is kind of low, but he's been a little bit shakier recently, and he's had some good starts recently that I think were a little because he was facing weaker lineups, and I think this might be a shot to time him maybe having a little bit of a worse start. Selman, because there was no overnight line, I haven't looked into the specifics and how he's doing right now.
Rough.
So yeah, he is. Yes.
Yeah.
But he's also a guy who I have similar to what Poltanevich, a guy who I have, I have expectations for much better results at some point in the future. If not this year, maybe a year and a half from now or something. But at some point in the future, I expect much better things from Gesellman.
Yeah, but for Gonzalez right now, this is something we talked about on Sportsbook today.
Yeah.
There's a lot of smoke and mirrors in his numbers so far this season. His walk rate, the highest of any season in which he's worst 100 innings.
Yeah.
His ground ball rate's down for the second straight year. Second worst of his career right now. His home run to fly ball rate is up for the second straight year at a career high right now. And you're talking about a guy with an ERA under 3 right now.
Yes.
And all the advanced metrics, his fielding at FIP is 4.35, his xFIP is 4.30, his SIERA is 4.61. Everything's saying Gio Gonzalez is primed for regression. And, Kesselman is not a guy that I trust, so we're already seeing over money in this game.
Okay, so yeah, I was I'm disappointed to see that my bet on the over 8.5 from last night got canceled, because I really liked that one, especially with Matt starting. I thought Matt's had a nice first start, but also reason to believe that he'll get hit a little bit in his next start. So I was ready and set to give that one here, but I will give the Mets team total over 4 minus 112. Just to hit Gonzalez.
I wouldn't argue.
That's a 5th pick, Teddy Covers. There's only 10 games, and I got some more. One more that I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about talking about is, well, actually, there's 2 more that I'm sure people are wondering and talking about. Let's first talk about the game at 1 o'clock, Seattle at Minnesota. It is Barrios Day. He is an excellent starter. Miranda has been getting good results on the other side for Seattle, but he has some serious control issues that crop up. Now, when he doesn't have those control issues, he is very capable of an elite level start. But he does have control issues. Barrios on the other side is excellent as well, and it's a very, very low line here for Minnesota, which is understandable. They have a terrible record at home, I believe maybe the worst in baseball in terms of ROI at home, and also some major bullpen issues. But I'm thinking that Minnesota on the run line here might have some value. What do you think, Teddy Covers?
Barrios is the guy that we want our money.
Right.
We know that.
Yes.
It's very clear. But Seattle's the better of these 2 teams.
Yes.
I know that the Twins have gotten off to a decent start. Seattle's the better of these 2 teams. And from a bullpen standpoint, the Nationals, Dusty Baker's in a world of hurt. We talked a lot about that a little bit yesterday. I think Paul Mahler might be the Minnesota's bullpen might be even worse than Washington's,
right,
where they're at right now in closing games out. So Barrios can throw a gem, and it won't make a difference if they can't get those last 3 or 6 outs down the stretch.
All right, yeah. So you're saying that it makes you nervous, and you wouldn't.
My initial lean was Minnesota, and the more I looked at it,
right. Because I was thinking about taking them on the -1 line and hoping that the bullpens wouldn't really factor in here. It is getaway day. All right, you know what? I'll take it. It's borderline. You're right though, but because I decided I'm going to take all these picks, well, what the hell?
Well, he's also 5. The Twins are 5-1 in his 6 starts. They're winning for him.
Yeah. All right. I'll take it on the -1 line. Again, we're getting pretty nice positive odds here. The money line will be -108 at Pinnacle, and the run line will be +173 at Pinnacle as well. Though a bunch of places have slightly better. A bunch of the rec books have 175, 176. I will take 173 from Pinnacle. So that's a positive line there from Minnesota, and hopefully we'll see another 27 type game, and the bullpens won't really matter here.
As we speak, we're seeing a big steam move on that Boston Philly under. It's going right now.
Oh shit!
So
that must mean someone's out. For who? For whom?
I'm just seeing money, and the money's pouring in on the under right now. And he just moved 5 times.
I'm on the wrong side of a steam move, Teddy Covers. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. All right. Okay. We'll see.
We're getting the worst of the numbers.
Yeah. Right. We shall see, Teddy Covers. All right. The other thing that's interesting is that it is Chris Tillman Day, and Chris Tillman. I don't remember if we put him on the auto fade list, but he should be. Not yet. I mean, he's been getting lit the F up, start in and start out. And in his I believe before his last start, I said that I expect only worse things from him, and I believe in his last start it was even worse than his starts before. So I'm thinking about taking the White Sox here, thinking about taking the White Sox team total over here. We know that Baltimore in general has problems on the road, and as you said, their lineup is, they're very homer happy, but they do have problems overall producing runs because they still don't set the table that well. So it's nice to maybe take a shot with the White Sox here at a plus money, or the White Sox team total over. What do you think, Teddy Covers?
What, we had 16 runs yesterday?
Yes.
We could get 16 runs again today.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't trust either of these starting pitchers. I don't trust either of these bullpens right now. And we're talking about 2 teams that, certainly in terms of the lineups are hit and miss. But right now, the White Sox actually hit the ball real well on this home.
Yes.
In this series, and both bullpens are shot
right
now.
Yeah.
I like over.
Yes, I thought I like the over as well. And here's a question for you.
Considered that for low-hanging fruit. Right? The Yankees are low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, right. So here's what I was thinking about. The White Sox are one of these teams with a stark. Let me get your opinion on this, Teddy. Sure. The White Sox are one of these teams with a stark discrepancy in terms of their righty-lefty splits. Right, I believe they're the best team in baseball in terms of hitting lefties, and one of the worst in terms of hitting righties. Now that's obviously very significant. But when you're going up against a guy on the auto fade who happens to be a righty, do you throw those kinds of splits out?
I tend to.
Yes.
I mean, right. Chris Tillman isn't right.
Yes, right. Something wrong with that boy.
his last
Something's
three
wrong with
starts,
him.
he's allowing 3 base runners in it.
Yeah.
And it's not like Buck Showalter has a lot of other options. Right
Yeah.
now. So that's, there you go. Here's the ball. Knock yourself out.
You just got to go right up to him and say, there's something wrong with you, dude. Something's not right there. And I will take the White Sox team total over 5 plus 100 at Pinnacle right now. Over 5 plus 100. They could get that in the 3rd inning,
I hope so.
I hope so too. All right, that's another pick that I've given here, Teddy covers. All right, Teddy, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you think is interesting here?
Well, I mean, the 2 games that I had circled were the Yankees, and then the over with Baltimore and the White Sox.
Right.
That's the 2. And I've had an under ticket with LA Cleveland last night.
Oof.
And that was pretty frustrating.
Oh, yeah, it was. I had that one too. And I got it at 9, Teddy covers.
Wow.
Yes. Didn't see, there you go. Just like when the BMOC Wins show, I got the under at 9 on that one. I beat the opener by a full run. Didn't matter. It was a loser, right?
And, well, it's what they score, 4 in the top.
Right, and then yeah. So that was a bad. It counts as a bad beat, though. That one is.
Andrew Miller got rocked, and
yep,
second straight game he got rocked.
There you go. Yes.
I mean, he's been the best reliever in baseball.
So. Yes. Here's another one I actually bet, and I'm thinking I might give another pick here. Casey at the Angels. Now, Casey is, of course, coming off of two nice wins against San Francisco, which I sort of expected to happen, and then the Angels, of course, doing well against the Yankees. I was thinking about taking the Angels here. This guy Strom is starting for Casey, and he's a converted reliever who does have some control issues. I'm not sure if I'm a buyer on him. Now, one of the reasons this line is so low is because Nolasco has had a bad year overall. His last start was a little bit better, and I'm thinking that the Angels might be the play here at the low line, Teddy covers. What do you think about that? I know Casey has picked it up. I expect him to do well in San Francisco, but I don't like this specific spot for them.
Well, I mean, I talked about the Royals on the roundtable yesterday here on SBR, and I talked about Casey as being a potential bet on team right now.
Yes, me too. I agree with that.
All of a sudden, this squad, who has had everything that could go wrong did go wrong for them. April into May. And now all of a sudden they look up, they're right in the race, they're playing good ball, their bats are, this is a team that couldn't, get their way out of a wet paper bag. All of a sudden they're pounding the baseball a little bit. And of course you've got the concept of the unfamiliar lefty making his first time around the league. And sometimes those guys have success in their first outing. But it's likely to be a bullpen game for KC, where you're hoping to get 4 innings. 4 or 5 innings. Right. You started hoping, whereas, Nolasco has the potential in theory to go a little bit more than that. But I'm not laying a price with Ricky Nolasco right now. Yeah,
you're right. That is just a lean for me on the Angels. I just kind of like the spot, and I think they might get down early with Stram. I'm not totally sold on him. I guess I'll hold off on that and keep that one as just a lean. All right, Teddy covers. It looks like we covered the whole card. I mean, there's an early game with the Dodgers and Cleveland, and then also there's Cobb against Verlander, and Verlander is struggling a little bit. I'm not sure I want to take Tampa Bay here, but I definitely am looking in general to fade Verlander, at least in the short term going forward. What do you think about that?
Verlander's a home road guy for me. I'm not in a rush to fade him at Comerica. He pitched relatively well there. Right. But Tampa's one of these teams that there's money to be made with the Rays. Okay, way under the radar. No one's paying attention to them. They had a couple of key guys on the DL, including Kiermaier, who obviously is an impact player. Sure. And the markets have kind of collapsed on this team. And they had success in Toronto, and I was surprised they had success in Detroit.
Yes. All right, I'm going to hold off on that one, but I'm going to think about it a little bit more. Maybe, I'm kind of looking to fade Verlander. Maybe a shot with the Tampa Bay team total over, maybe, but I'm going to hold off on that one and think about it. And then Colorado, San Francisco. That's a little bit of a tricky one because Colorado, of course, traveling all the way across country without rest from Pittsburgh. San Francisco, though, is a team that I really pretty much don't want to bet on in any spot right now, and especially not with Moore on the road in a hitter fest. So, oh my God. For me there. So I guess that's just a pass. All right, let's just quickly go over all of my picks. I did give Minnesota -1. I did give the White Sox team total over at 5. And you know what else? I'm going to double up on that one. Yeah. I'm going to give the White Sox as a home dog at +108 at a bunch of places. Pinnacle, the Chris Books all have +108. Oh, actually, the Greek has +110. I'll take that one. White Sox as a home dog +110. I'll double up on that one. I did give Boston -1 and the Boston team total over, which now is maybe looking a little bit iffy, but we'll see. I did give the Mets team total over. I'm liking that one. And I did give the Yankees -1 and the Yankees second half. And the only lean that I'm not going to pull the trigger on right now will be the Angels at -1 at the small plus money with Velasco. I'm agreeing with Teddy Covers and everything he said about KC. I just don't like this particular spot for them here in this game. You know what? I will put my money where my mouth is. I'll add that one on there. I'll add the LA. You like the pause? See, I'm good with the dramatic comedic pause. I nailed that pause. You saw that?
Yeah, the dramatic pause.
Yeah, nailed it.
Well, that dramatic pause worked.
Yes, absolutely, Teddy covered. I mean, that's what I went to school in Switzerland for. I went to the finest sports betting broadcasting academy in the world, in Switzerland. Yes, yes. So I'm going to take the Angels on the money line. I'm sorry, on -1 line. I'll take -128 on the money line part at betonlinesportsbetting.ag, and then I will take at the Greek +155 on the run line part. So that's a nice little small plus money line there for the Angels. And I guess that's about it. So really no leans for me. I made all of my plays picks. Is there any low-hanging fruit today? I guess, you know what the low-hanging fruit is? It's obvious. It's the White Sox team total over. Just Tillman. You know, will Tillman and the Baltimore bullpen be able to hold the White Sox to 4 or less? Maybe. But if they do, I'm eating that loss, right?
You know, but this is what you can do, okay? You put your money in with the best of it.
Yeah.
And then that's as much as you can do.
That's all you can do, Teddy Covers. All right, so White Sox team total over 5 + 100 is the low-hanging fruit of the day, and a whole bunch of other plays that I'm feeling somewhat confident about overall. And let's go to you want to get some comments maybe? We got a bunch of awesome comments. I just want to say thank you with this being Teddy's last day. Thank you to all just the epic comments. And we don't even know what all of them were because I didn't get to read all of them, but just epic comments such as referring to Teddy and I as the Cheech and McLovin show. One guy said that Teddy's neck could cover any run line, just buried the hell out of him there. Of course, Wang Zhou from China with a bunch of great comments this year, including that if Masahiro Tanaka got a win against an Asian-faced pitcher, got a win against the Angels, he would not eat rice for a month, and that did happen, and now he's not eating rice for a month. I wish you could have the exact wording because, you know, broken English, yeah, like with poetry, it's the wording that gives it its power, you know. But let's see. So thanks for all the comments, and of course, thanks for all the comments on YouTube as well about commenting on my presentation, which I'm always trying to improve. Teddy Covers, if you noticed, I'm trying to fidget less and stay within an invisible triangle.
One of those little fidget spinners.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know.
Me once
I mean, yeah, I know. I mean, basically, what I'm going for is just trying to be less annoying in general, which is a lot harder than it seems. Teddy Covers.
Much harder. I have the same problem.
You know, I mean, Jesus Christ, you know, I look at videos of me and I'm like, damn, I'm annoying. But then I look at videos of other people, I'm like, wow, they're even more annoying than I am. So it's like, you know, it's hard just to be a person who makes you feel good on camera, you know. Kind of hard. All right, so let's see other comments. Arthur Funchess says Sale will do well against Philly. Yes, I agree with that. I hope. Hopefully, yes, hopefully. Oh, here's one that people that we didn't actually get to. A comment. D says, if Brewers such an obvious play, why is it plus money? Someone else must have been saying that Brewers are an obvious play. I don't know if it's an obvious play, but it's definitely the side that I prefer here.
I would be for sure. Yeah. I mean, St. Louis, in my mind, is a paid team. That's another thing we talked about on the round table yesterday. You know, what are the Cards doing late in these type of plays? They're not a good team.
Absolutely.
You know? And Zach Davies is one of these guys. The advanced metrics that say he stinks. And when you find guys that the advanced metrics hate, like Zach Davies, and they're able to pitch well despite the fact that in theory they shouldn't be pitching that well. Those are guys you can make money with all year long. Zach Davies has been a money man. You know, I made money with that guy.
Yeah.
I made money with that
guy. Yeah, I mean, Milwaukee's
guys hate him. They absolutely hate him.
Yeah, Milwaukee's been one of the top teams in baseball on the road as well. My sense, I look at this one, my sense of the starting pitching is vaguely a wash in this one. I just like the Brewers and I like the Lions. Well, actually, you know what? I'll throw that one on as a lean. My lean, I'm not going to give it as a pick, but I will give it as a lean. I definitely like Milwaukee here at that line. Not I wouldn't say it's an obvious play, but I think it's a solid play and a little bit of value there. All right, let's see. Other questions. Tomarino Tomor, a guy who does a lot of research, makes great comments, says, I wouldn't lay -230 with Sale. He hasn't pitched well in a month. Yeah, I'm not really laying 230. I'm laying -190 on the run line. So if he blows up, but still, yeah, that might be a bad analysis that I'm giving here. What do you think?
And first of all, Tomarino Tomor, he comes into the Sportsbook.
Yes.
So I'm glad to see him here as well, and always with good comments. So I appreciate it.
Does his research for sure.
No argument.
He also says Tillman has had very good numbers against the White Sox. Well, he used to be a guy who I used to bet on. I mean, he used to have good results against lots of people.
Sure. I mean, in my mind, a lot of times when you're talking about batter versus team stats, that's a little bit the lazy way.
Yeah.
I want to go batter
versus batter.
Pitcher versus batter stats, and that'll give you a much better assessment of the guys who are in the lineup right now, what they can do or their track record of success against a given hurler.
Right. So, okay.
I should say it's a lazy way, but it's just something that, I think there's a better way to do it than just look at batter versus pitcher versus team stats.
Yes. Tomarino Tomor says, I think the way Casey is hitting, they're a good pick against garbage pitching. I understand that. I just like the spot for the Angels tonight. He also says, I really like the over. That might be nice. I cashed with the over in the Yankees, in the low total with the Yankees-Angels game last night. And that was a pick that I just saw late. I realized it was a good play late. So he might be right, though, that the over might be a good play with KC tonight. Let's see. Seth Hagen says, best ROI this season is betting the overs. Yes, that's true. Overs are hitting league-wide at 53% right now. Teddy covers.
Yeah, and if you look just at the NL, you're going to find a much better
even more. Okay, yeah.
But I mean, at this stage, remember, what was it, 3 years ago?
Yep.
Every NL game, you're sitting there looking at 7.5, 7. 8 was high. Now, well, just look today. There's 3. There's not a game in baseball where there's the 1-8 in Boston, Philly, and that's with Sale on the Hill. And there's 1 8.5. Everything else is 9 or higher.
Yes. Okay, someone has the comments in the show. At a certain point, they clearly weren't even paying attention because they were doing some fuck, marry, kill stuff. Lou Skunt says, I'd fuck Wozniak, marry Halep, and I'm not saying who I'd kill. That's illegal or something. Yes, never do fuck, marry, kill online because the kill part they can use, and you will go to jail for that.
You will go to jail.
You will go to jail for that. Yes.
You sound like the most overreactive PSA right now.
No. If you say I'd fuck Wozniak, marry Halep, and kill whatever who's some. Don't say it. Don't even say it online. Yes, you cannot
Just think it.
Yes, exactly. You can no, not even that. It's just sometimes because Google will start to be able to. No, but you can go to jail.
Go back to that.
Yeah, well, it's coming.
They're developing technology that will be able to that actually already exists that can actually read brainwaves, and so there is technology now where you can actually move a mouse move a cursor with your thoughts, with thinking that you move it, and the technology does exist. I don't maybe with your eyes, definitely. Like if you that's definitely true. Like people who are paralyzed. Yes, like a lot of those guys. But so the point is, yes, that's true. Do not make any sort of a joke that can be misinterpreted by the FBI because they will come for you, and a joke is not a defense. You will go to jail. So don't do fuck, marry, kill in the comments. Absolutely. Yes. Let's see. Yes, let's see. Seth Hagen says Teddy covers making us money yesterday with Red Sox and then Royals. Very nice, Teddy covers. Even I had Casey on the second half. Didn't have the balls taken on the full game, but yeah, I did. In the show, I did mention how a lot of people were saying that Hamill was going to get crushed, but he really got his control under control. He had no walks in his 2 games prior to last night, so I thought that was a sign that he might actually be decent at least in this upcoming game. And the last upcoming, and he was. Yeah,
pitched well last night. I mean, that's my job.
Yes.
When I'm giving out winning, I mean, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
And when I don't do it, it means I'm not doing my job.
Yes.
But thank you for the comments.
Yes, Teddy says thank you for the comments. All right, I don't know. There's so many comments here. I don't want to waste a lot of time here. Okay. Oh boy, here we go. I knew I'd find a good one. Yeah. Wang Zhou, our friend from China, says Brewers going down today. Asian pitcher with 5 exclamation points. Who is there an Asian pitcher? Who's he talking about? Brewers going down today. Zach Davies?
Waka?
No, those are white. Oh, maybe, yeah. Those are white as hell. Those dudes are white as hell. I don't know what he's talking about, but this guy Wang Zhou is the funniest commenter pretty much of the week or of the month. All right, let's see other questions. Yeah. Asan Zolfagari said, yeah, honestly, Pete gets a little too quote unquote cute with second halves. Yeah. A lot of times I'm trying to be a little bit too cute. I'm like, all right, I don't really want to fade Cueto, so I'll take Casey on the second half. That one paid off, but maybe I am a little bit too
I mean, with any wager that I'm making, I'm tracking.
Yes.
Are you got a positive ROI on your second half or not?
In the show or in general?
Both.
In general, yes. In this show, no. So but my ROI with my bets is I'm a lot more careful with that, because precisely because of what you said, because you can wait for information and they don't move that much,
Sure.
So yeah, it's a little bit Yeah. All right. Let's see. Any other? I'm just going to quickly scan over these comments. I know this is dead air, but we got. Let's see. Here we go. Another comment from Wang Zhou. Yep. I think New York Mets will win today. Washington is very struggling. Yes. They are very struggling. They had their offense was completely dormant for a while. Then it picked up against Atlanta, but it only picked up when Atlanta was cashing on the other side. And I told you, Teddy Covers, that according to my numbers, and I don't know if how accurate my numbers are, but according to my numbers, Washington's offense has been subpar for about a month now.
Sure, when you have an offense that's priced like an elite offense that isn't living up to that, and you have a bullpen that is a freaking disaster area, and how do I say this politely about Dusty Bates?
He's not. He has
his ability to mismanage a pitching staff is almost unique in the MLB, and it's happening again.
All right, so there were a bunch of. I'm sure there were a bunch of great comments, but I'm going to just. I'm just going to summarize everything that we have said today. Dodgers, Cleveland. I guess we will not talk about that. That one starts in 45 minutes. Teddy Covers. I didn't want to think about it. Yeah, I had a vague lean to the over on that one. As you know, I'm not a buyer on Hill right now. And actually, let me just quickly check what the team total would be for Cleveland, because I'm not a buyer on Hill at all right. 4.5. Yeah. All right, I'll stay off that one. But in general, I'm not a buyer on Hill going forward. Then Minnesota, I did take them as an official pick. -1. It is Chris Tillman Day, and I went twice on the White Sox as a small home dog, and also team total over 5 + 100, which I decided had to be the low-hanging fruit of the day. I am on Boston -1 and the team total over, which might prove to be an ultimate square pick. A bunch of picks there and play, but I'm going with it. Mets team total over. I'm on that one. I like that one. Milwaukee as a modest road dog. That's a lean. That's not a pick, but that is a lean, and I agree with the people who said that they like that one. And I'm on the Yankees two ways, -1 and the second half. And I'm also on the Angels -1. I agree that in general, KC is a team I'm looking to bet on going forward, but not in this spot. And some people are saying they like Stram coming in and making a spot start. I'm not so sure. I think he's going to have some control issues. Of course, even if he does, he's going to be on a pitch count. So, maybe some better arms will come in. But I'm going to take, and Velasco's, yes, taking Velasco as a favorite is a treacherous thing to do. But I'm going to take the Angels here -1 as one more final pick. Teddy Covers.
What are you not taking, man? It's a short card.
Yes.
Everything.
Well, I'm not taking the San Francisco-Colorado game. That's for damn sure. And I'm not taking the.
The scary thing is I like the Rockies again today.
You do, huh?
I can only take Colorado.
I mean, it's just Moore is just setting up. What's the Colorado team total over? Because Moore is just setting up to get absolutely shellacked here. Let's see what the Colorado team total over is right now. 5.5 -141. So that means at the square books it would be like 6. Yeah, I mean, San Francisco, Colorado. Here's something that you've probably noticed, Teddy Covers. Have you ever noticed that some of these pitchers who are like really bad, like total tomato cans or auto fade pitchers, have a start coming up in Coors, and you're like, oh my God, they're going to get crushed. And more often than not, they actually have a better start than they have in other parts of, like, seemingly out of nowhere. That happened with Jared Weaver. That happened with who's the guy, Alfredo Simone last year, I remember. Have you noticed that or not really?
Not as much as you.
Okay, yeah, I've definitely noticed.
It does happen. I mean, we were when there was one that stood out.
Yes.
We were in there, and it was like he's going to get lit up.
Yes, and it didn't happen. And I remember last year the same thing happened with Alfredo Simone. It was when he was getting absolutely shelled, start in and start out. Then he had to start at Coors, and it was surprisingly good. Teddy Covers, I'm telling you, this is not a hard prediction. This is a soft prediction. I bet you Moore has a surprisingly not shitty start today.
In which case, you don't want to lay.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how that game turns out. But you're asking me what game I'm off of? That's one, Teddy Covers. I'm definitely way the hell off of that one. And I'm also off of the Tampa Bay Detroit game. I'm liking Tampa Bay in general going forward, and I'm liking fading Verlander in general at the moment. But I guess I'll stay off of that one. All right. Teddy Covers. That's about it. 45-minute show. I think it was overall a pretty decent show, right? Yeah. What do you think? All right, that's about it. And Teddy Covers, thanks for being a guest on all week. Yeah.
Q&A. So you guys, if you got any good questions for our gentleman here, please do send it into our Twitter.
Okay.
#AskSBR.
And Teddy Covers, of course, does Sportsbit. What do? You live in Vegas. You do Sportsbit with us every day. What's your Twitter? Your Twitter is
at Teddy_Covers.
At Teddy_Covers. All right, everyone.
And thanks so much. Had a lot of fun being here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for being here. And I will be back tomorrow for the Friday card.
Ugh, me too.